Riot doesn't like Volibear. I just don't think they like Volibear, period.
Your shrines will fall!
New Volibear buff? Is it new or is it like... I know he got buffed, but was that, he get another buff? How many buffs did he get? That's 3, 4, 5. That's like 380 more. Yeah, it's definitely a spike. Yeah, I know about it. That's why I updated my guide. But there's many different ways you can play it too. You can go Trinity. You can go Black Cleaver Cosmic combo. Like it's kind of endless on Volibear. You know what I mean? It's like whether you go AP, AD, or tank, it's kind of endless. Or hybrid. Like that's why Volibear is unique. Kind of like Udyr, right? Udyr is the same way. But regardless of how you look at it, his W is usually what you max first, at least for top lane, most of the time. So his W is always supposed to be the strongest. It's like on Old Bear. I don't know if you know Old Bear before the rework, but that W was massive. And I don't know if people know this, but Riot doesn't like Volibear. I just don't think they like Volibear, period. Because the rework, if you really look at it, the ult was cool because like the ultimate timer was longer then. But honestly, everybody's been saying this for a long time, that Volibear's ult is lackluster. Like it needs to be like reworked into something better. As much as I like, jumping on the towers and breaking them, but he needs more. He needs like he doesn't necessarily need like the disable because nobody really goes in. Nobody really goes in, and they definitely don't go in when they nerfed it to like 2 seconds or a lot less. Late game is not so bad, but you would have to go tank in order for everybody to go in because you have to eat the tower shots after the disable wears off, right? Otherwise, nobody's going to go in, period, if you walk out. So that's the downside of Volibear's ult now, is they nerfed the fuck out of it. That's really the only thing. But anyway, about his W, they cut it in half, if you think about it. He has two things going for him. He's got to mark the target and then bite the target. Before, he would just bite the target. One big chomp. So if you build HP on them, you could execute the target when they're like, I don't know, maybe 40% health, 30%. Now it's like they nerfed it basically. It's like they do a little bit of damage on the first mark and then you do more on the bite, but it's never as much as it used to be. So I don't know. They just don't like Volibear. They just keep nerfing him to the ground, and they always nerf his Q. It's just, and it hurts him in jungle, and it hurts him for top lane. So like top lane, they always pick range matchups, range champions into him, and without that Q, it's just really hard. All right, so let me think about this. Volibear's W increase. His Q is nerfed still, right? So his jungle is down bad, and his top lane has improved or balanced. Except for range matchups. That's where he gets hurt. I guess he's in a balanced state right now in top lane. Or a little bit better than what he was. So in jungle he still got hurt. At least for the early game. Which Volibear is an early game champion. The Riot still doesn't understand what they need to do for Volibear. Like all they have to do is just make Volibear a late game champion then. That's literally it. They can leave everything the way it is if they want Volibear's early game to slow down a bit. Make him a late game champion. Make him scale like you know, Cho'Gath, whatever you call him. Make him scale into the late game, become a massive storm, and just rework his ult. That's simple. He doesn't have to disable towers. He can still, jump in the air and crash down, but maybe jump in the air, transform into a massive storm cloud, and become untouchable, unstoppable, but you can't hit anybody. All you do is slow everybody in the area, and lightning bolts come down. And if you're struck by them, you get double slowed. And then after 10 seconds or whatever, you come crashing down. And when you crash down in the area, you do a shockwave effect, kind of like Asol. You know how Asol, when he does his comet or whatever, boom, and it just like got a wide radius. Do that with Volibear, but you knock everybody up. Do that. Just give him some AoE crowd control ability ult with lightning, more storm effect. And when you crash down, that's when they can target you and hit you or whatever. But you can't hit during the ultimate, but you're still providing like CC and AoE damage when you transform into a storm. I think that would be way better. His ult is kind of lackluster. Like, I am the storm. What storm? He just literally jumps up and down. You know what I mean? And he just looks, I don't know, transparent a little bit, like a storm, but he's not really doing much of anything. If anything, his old ult was better before the rework. You know what I mean? So that's what I would suggest. Make him a little bit more like a Swain or a Mumu. Something more useful, you know? And it can be useful diving towers that way too, especially if you're tanky and untouchable. That's the thing. You don't need the tower disabled necessarily. Or if you want to keep the tower disabled, it's going to have to be turned off for, 2 seconds for your allies, but it doesn't touch you because nothing can touch you during that time, 10 seconds. But for your allies, they have 2 seconds to go in, 3 seconds, whatever it is. You can still keep that if you want to keep that. But your allies have a window. They either go in during that time and get out. Otherwise, they might die to a tower and get like a couple seconds. So that could be useful. Because like Volibear needs to be like a frontline juggernaut. That's what they need him to be. But obviously they can't have him jumping on targets and whatever they're complaining about. I can't get away from Volibear. But if they change his ultimate to where he can't hit anybody, he's just applying like crowd control and lightning is coming down, it's still useful for the team because they have to try to get out of that area, and they can't hit your team because he's a huge fucking storm. And when he comes crashing down, he's going to have a massive shockwave going like halfway across the map and knocking people up, right? So that's a great way to disrupt fights, protect your teammates. It's kind of like Galio in a sense. It's like a Galio Swain combo a little bit. It might sound OP, but it's really not. It's really not that bad. I think it's a lot better. The moment they took away his unstoppable, or the fact that he gets stunned while being unstoppable, is stupid. It's like he ults up in the air, and he gets hit with the CT, and the moment he lands, he's stunned. Like, yeah, you get your Q reset, but then he just gets one shot because of that. Like, they need to give that back to him so he doesn't get one shot. Otherwise, he really just needs a rework on his ultimate. That's really it. It's just lackluster. Keep everything same. You want to nerf his Q? You want to slow down his early game? Fine. But make him scale into the late game. Utilize his ult more for late game. There's a high cooldown in the early game, but in the late game, when he scales, the storm gets big, he can go toe-to-toe with, the late game scalers like fucking Kale and Xiaogei. They outscale him. Like, how? Like, Volibear is this massive storm. He's a god. He doesn't feel like it. We'll just make him an early game champ. And then complain about it and nerf his Q and all this stuff. Like, really? You can't have it both ways, man. Like, you gotta have it one way. You want to bitch about his early game strength? Okay then, make him a late game champion. So he can be somewhat good early, but difficult to run down targets early, fine, whatever. Then in the late game, he's got to be able to match them. I'm sorry. Like, that's what I wish they would change. And I think people would agree with me. I think they really would. They want him to scale. They want him to, have a better ultimate. At least feel like the storm god that he is. And not just jump up and down and be, you know, an ornament, basically. Like he's just a walking, I'm big, I'm the storm, yet I'm not doing anything. That's really what it is. I was kind of disappointed when it came out. I was like, wait, this is it? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. He can break towers, deal damage to towers, and that's pretty much the best way to utilize them. So I went top lane with him. And yeah, you can have tower dives with your, laners and stuff, but it doesn't always work out, especially when they nerf it. I like the way this looks so far. That's good. I feel like I could draw this a lot faster by hand. But if I do it by hand, it's not going to be as, what do you call it, smooth. By hand's not bad either. It's going to look more sketchy, I guess, or like a rough pencil drawing or a rough ink drawing. Y'all probably wonder what the hell what am I doing? I got this book. And it basically like a step-by-step book. And I'm an illustrator, so I draw things a lot more complicated than what I'm drawing here. But it helps me adjust my mindset to stay loose and to draw simple. But the main reason why I got it is because my daughter, she's only like 5. She's into art, so um, I wanted to teach her how to draw. But with a child, you have to like teach them like basics, And for me, I'm a very complicated in graphic kind of illustrator, so like I have to dial back a notch and like draw, simple, cute little things that my daughter can comprehend. So that's what I'm doing here. But instead of giving her the book that she can probably rip up and destroy, I actually like that book. Um, she can I can print this out and give her a Volibear one, and then she can color it, or I can teach her um, how to draw a Volibear instead of what they got in the book, right? So here's how it works. Um, you start out like this. So basically, I'll teach my daughter how to do a basic circle shape, and this will be like with a light pencil. The pencil that's super light. You can't draw hard with it at all. They got like different numbers of pencils. Forget what they are, like 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B, whatever it is. So we get the light one and we do this so you can erase it later. So that's step 1. And then step 2, you basically draw over the shapes that you put there as a guide. So, that cross line right here is basically the perspective of where Volibear is looking. So this is along this line here. You put in where the eyes are, the nose, and then it helps you kind of like proportion Volibear's features like that. And then once you get that, and you turn off that or erase if you're doing it on paper. Turn off that layer, erase it, whatever. Erase around it. And this will be kind of like lighter too, by the way. And then at this point would be the ink stage. So normally it would be kind of technically like this light or something when you draw with paper or whatever type pencil you're using. Then the ink stage, obviously darker. It would be like this. And then all you have to do is just erase subtly, like right here. Just erase around it. And then, bam, you got your ink. But because we're doing it digital, we can turn this down so we can see what we're doing over it. And all we're going to do is just fill it in with basic colors and then basic, like, shadows and stuff. That's really it. Keep it simple. Because, like, sometimes it's a personal preference. Literally. Like, some people love just going Trinity Shojin. I don't. It's great, but I find myself struggling a little bit with it compared to some people. And I respect it. Like, some people like to go on that build, fine. Some people like the Cosmic Black Cleaver style, that's fine. Am I in love with the Cosmic Black Cleaver? No, but I know it's super OP. It's pretty strong. I just like being a big bear. That's just that simple. I just I like being a big bear. Not this little bear. This little bear right here I'm drawing, but big bear. Put a little mini human by his foot. Feel like a fat bear.